Recently, a number of foreign media reports that India may develop a strategic bomber, with a range of more than 12,000 kilometers, aiming to create a global firepower delivery tool. The project is named Ultra Long Range Strategic Bomber by India. The bomber is envisioned not only as an advanced weapon for conventional warfare, but also as an air-based component of India's Trinity nuclear force. It is widely believed that the potential target of this bomber is pointed at China, so India can actually successfully develop this advanced strategic bomber. If we look at it from a technical point of view, the challenges faced by India in developing an ultra-long-range strategic bomber are enormous. First of all, from the perspective of strategic needs analysis, India does not seem to be in urgent need of such a weapon. After all, India has long relied on long-range ballistic missiles to counter threats from China and Pakistan. For example, the Spitfire series of missiles, as well as submarine-launched intercontinental ballistic missiles K-15 and K-4, are India's core weapons to deal with threats from its neighbors. India's only tactical bomber is the Su-30MKI, a tactical fighter bomber that is not capable of strategic missions. However, both Pakistan and China share borders with India, which allows India's defense focus to remain primarily on the immediate region. Theoretically, there is no overly pressing need for this development program. However, with the announcement that China has revealed a powerful sixth-generation fighter, the J-36, as well as the H-20 strategic bomber, the pressure on India's defenses has increased, especially the H-20, which is claimed to have a range of more than 10,000 kilometers and can carry 20 tons of munitions, which undoubtedly poses a huge threat to India's deep areas. Therefore, it seems that India has decided to put the development of the ultra-long-range strategic bomber on the agenda, out of concern for China's offensive capabilities, and rapidly develop this weaponry. If India succeeds in developing such a strategic bomber, it will not only enhance its military status in the region, but also transform itself from a regional military power into a global military power, with global long-range strike capability. However, accomplishing this goal will be far more difficult than expected. India's requirements for this strategic bomber are very high. First of all, the range needs to be more than 12,000 kilometers, which means that it needs to have a longer flight distance than the US B-21, and even close to the limit of the Russian Tu-160, White Swan, strategic bomber flight distance. Secondly, India requires the bomber to have extremely advanced stealth capabilities. Rumor has it that the ULRA will adopt an innovative stealth design and be coated with a new radar-absorbing material to effectively avoid detection by enemy air defense radars. In addition, the bomber may borrow the design concept of the Tu-160, adopting a variable swept-back wing structure to optimize the angle of the wings and maximize fuel efficiency and flight speed. In terms of weaponry, India is not skimping. Through technical cooperation with Russia, India has acquired the 450-kilometer range Brahmos supersonic cruise missile. The missile's high speed allows it to break through most modern air defenses and accurately strike airports, radar stations, command centers and nuclear facilities. The ULRA is envisioned to carry at least 4 Brahmos missiles for out-of-area strike capability. In addition, there is the Dreadnought air-launched cruise missile with a range of 1,000 kilometers, the Astra Mk3 air-to-air missile with a range of 340 kilometers, which is under development, and even the new Mach 8 1,500-kilometer range at LDHCM hypersonic missile. LDHCM hypersonic missile is a potential mounted weapon. The Dreadnought and LDHCM missiles are also capable of carrying nuclear warheads. While the ideal is very grand, the reality is very harsh. Had India possessed such capabilities, it would not have been without a bomber with strategic strike capability till date. Since its inception in October 1932, the Indian Air Force, IAF, has seen several wars, but the history of its bombers has not been a glorious one. Initially, India's Air Force equipment was virtually in limbo. After the partition of India and Pakistan in 1947, India had few resources to fall back on for Air Force buildup. After the end of the Kashmir War in 1948, the IAF, having learned its lessons, began to look for bomber acquisitions. Initially, the US proposed that India purchase B-25 Mitchells, and then the UK suggested that India purchase post-World War II Lancaster bombers. However, India's economy was so strained that it had absolutely no funds to buy these expensive weapons. So, India started looking for cheaper alternatives. It found some abandoned B-24 Liberators in northwest India, originally RAF fighters, but with the end of World War II, they had nowhere to go. Hindustan Aeronautics virtually picked up the old B-24s from the rubble and restored them until 1948, when 6 of them were put into service. These bombers remained in service for almost 20 years until 1968, when they were completely retired. Even so, India cherished them and even sent them on coastal patrol bombing missions in the 1965 Indo-Pakistani War. Over time, India updated its air force with the Canberra bomber, which was reliable and suitable for low-altitude raids, but could not match the capabilities of modern stealth bombers. 1984 saw the introduction of the MiG-27 tactical attack aircraft from the USSR, and the Jaguar, which was the first of its kind in the world. Jaguar and Su-30MKI also belong to the attack aircraft type, unable to undertake strategic bombing missions. At present, India is no longer able to fulfill its need for strategic bombers, although India has repeatedly raised the hope of leasing Russia's Tu-160 strategic bombers, but Russia has not agreed. Tu-160 is the core model of the Russian strategic bomber. Its willingness to sell to the outside world has been very low, and the Russian Air Force itself needs these aircraft, so the possibility of leasing to the outside world is almost zero. Can India actually catch up and develop a strategic bomber with global reach? As it turns out, India is not in dire need of such ultra-long-range bombers. Despite pressure from China and Pakistan, India's strategic focus remains on regional defense, not global strike. Unlike China, India is not in a direct confrontation with the world's leading military power, the United States. Strategic bomber research and development not only requires extremely high technical capabilities, but also requires huge financial investment, and this is undoubtedly an extremely difficult challenge for India. Even if India in the technical breakthrough to really realize this strategic transformation, I am afraid that we still need to pay a huge price. Today, even the glory fighter problem cannot be completely solved. India wants to quickly jump to the field of strategic bombers. I am afraid it is too idealistic goal.